You are Locked On Dodgers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, how you feeling now, Dodger fans? Little better, right? Little better. Feeling pretty good. Obviously, still a long way to go, but we're feeling good. Sorry I'm a little late getting started, but I was being very superstitious. I had picked out a different spot on the couch than I normally watch the game from, and everything was going good. So I'm like, I am staying right here till the game's over. I also have had my green Dodger hat on all day. So I will wear the green Dodger hat, TFN. Welcome to the Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. I'm Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers Postcast is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.com, Booking.yeah, the right state can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball rival city. Book today on Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. Well, I got to be honest. One thing happens for me in the postseason when it comes to covering baseball. I am a whole lot less professional. Now, some of you may think that I'm not professional ever, but the bottom line is this is what we have been waiting for all season long. This has been the light at the end of the tunnel. And there has been so much pressure all season long. We've talked about it a lot. Not as much as Jeff and Vince on the Locked On Dodgers podcast, rather. They talk about it every day, like what it all means. We here on the postcast kind of break down the games, but as the season was coming to an end, we got into a little bit of what it all means, who's going to be on the postseason roster, et cetera, et cetera. What have the Dodgers done this past week, you know, in the 6 days they had off between their last game and tonight? And did it work? And can they keep it going? And is this team better than last year's team? Can they get a little revenge on the Padres from 2022? Lots of questions hanging over our head, but this is what we have been talking about all spring and summer long. And it's here finally. And it feels good to come away from this first game with a win. It definitely takes up a little pressure. The one thing I can't help but think about is 2022, because the Dodgers did win game 1 in 2022 as well. But I definitely feel like this team is very, very different than that team. Obviously, the Padres are very, very different as well. They're very different compared to just last season. Wow, the changes that they've gone through, new manager, yada, yada. But we're not here to talk about the Padres. We're here to talk about the Dodgers, a 7-5 win. And I'll tell you, who's with me here? I'm exhausted. I feel like this game started 3 days ago. It was the 5th inning. Joe Davis mentioned it. He's like, we're in the 4th or the 5th inning, and we've already been through it. We're only halfway through this game. Fortunately, the Dodger bullpen stepped up. All the pundits, they asked like 27 people on ESPN, who's going to win this series? 22 of them were like the Padres. Now look, series is not over. I understand that. But what we saw today is very, very different than what we've seen from the Dodgers in the past with regard to many, many different elements of the game in the first round of the playoffs, coming off of that first round bye, because they're the 1 seed. So one of the things that everyone speculated that would never work out for the Dodgers, if the starting pitcher does not go deep, they're done. And I'm like, they're not, these guys aren't, I'm sorry. We are watching a lot closer than these ESPN pundits. There's no way they can watch all of the games from all of the teams. They have a team that they follow, more than likely. They have a job for the network where the network sends them all over the country to big games to watch. this team and that team and this game and that game. They cannot be that into the Dodgers unless they're a Dodgers fan. So this bullpen, yeah, they're looking at stats and that's what they're basing their opinion on. This bullpen is much better than last year's and the year before that. Much more healthy. The starting rotation is obviously not 100% healthy, but more healthy than last year. That's for damn sure. And in spite of the fact that Yamamoto came out and wasn't great, bumpy 3 innings, giving up 5 runs on 5 hits, 1 strikeout, 1 home run to Machado in the first inning, and a couple of walks, they got through it. And really, honestly, here's what I feel the best about. They battled back, and the bullpen just settled things down, right? That's what we feel like at that point. The bullpen came in the 4th, and that's when the Dodgers had their big inning. So 2 things happened there. They put up 3, right? That made it 6-5 Dodgers because the Padres answered right back after that second inning. And that was like, that I did not like. That was frustrating, kind of head shaking. I'm like, oh God, can't we just close them down after we tie the game? But they didn't. Padres came back with 2 more. But then the Dodgers answered with 3 to take the lead, 6-5. And then the bullpen settled things down. Now, we've spent about 6 minutes here kind of recapping the game a little bit. And I apologize profusely that I have not mentioned Shohei Ohtani's name yet. A little bit of me burying the lead, but holy cow, this guy, as much as we have criticized Steven Nelson this season here on the postcast for being a little corny and a little cheesy and saying things that nobody's ever said before, like when the count is 3-2, he's like, they filled up the count. You know, that drives me crazy. It's a full count. That's the only thing you call it. It's not filled up. It's not filling up. You can't change the verb. Steven Nelson's call on one of Shohei Ohtani's big home runs of he is inevitable is awesome because Joe Davis said it tonight. I have remembered it. I have stored it away. I have talked to my friends saying that Shohei is inevitable. I have friends that live in LA that are Angels fans. So they're obviously rooting for the Padres. These friends also went to school like I did in San Diego. So they're just on the Padres bandwagon right now. But there's, we're in a group text and there's like 3 Padres or 3 non-Dodgers fans and 3 Dodgers fans. So we're going back and forth. And I use that quote because it is so accurate. The guy is inevitable. He is so freaking clutch. 14 of 16 with runners in scoring position. And I'm sorry. That ball made me jump out of my seat and cuss. Because I was sitting there by myself going, yeah, just holy cow, that was awesome. Frank, let's not go down this road. Why don't you like Shohei? When did I say that I didn't like Shohei? If you could quote me on me saying I don't like Shohei at any point in time, I'll be happy to answer that question. Never said I didn't like Shohei, never once. All that I've said about my Shohei feelings throughout this season is at times I've been frustrated because my expectations of him are very, very high. Too high. Unfair. I've said that. I've owned that. I hold him to a little bit higher of a standard. And there are times on strikeouts where he is like, looks awful. His technique is terrible. And it's frustrating because when you see him do what he did today, you expect him to do it like every other time. I know he's not going to hit 1,000. Even 500 is impossible. I know you are, Frank. Frank says he's just breaking my balls. Now you go the other way. I don't love him, but I am a huge fan. I am in awe of Shohei, as I think we all are, right? I think the fact that this guy is just so powerful and awesome. I think, we're all in awe of him. And I would like to refer to you here, commenter, but I don't speak whatever. Is that probably Japanese? I'm sorry, I don't know what your name is. But he says Pete is just honest. Everyone's expectations on him are high. DFA him. He only had 1 home run and 3 RBIs. Very nice. Very well said. Yeah, I am in awe. And, I honestly get a little bit more comfortable when he's in the box, when he's up to bat and there are runners on scoring position or on base. I feel like he ratchets it up and is so clutch lately. Again, 14 of 16 with runners at scoring position. That ball he hit I called it a bomb to my friends. It's really not a bomb because it didn't go that far, 373 feet, but it was a line drive shot, 112 miles an hour. It was a no doubter, up and in and turn and burn. It's like, get off me with this pitch. And he smoked that ball. Oh my God, what a great feeling to see that ball in the stands and the game tied. That dude is so freaking clutch. And I am, as I've said many, many times, glad he's on our team and not theirs. Look, the Padres got a couple of their own in Tatis Jr. and Machado, guys that you feel are game changers every time they come up. Tatis 2 for 4 tonight with the couple of RBI. No, I'm sorry, a couple of runs. Machado, a couple of RBI, and the home run going 1 for 5. But Machado struck out to end the game. Another fantastic feeling. So all in all, warm and fuzzies on this one tonight. 7-5 the final. Dodgers take game 1, and Jack Flaherty starts tomorrow. That's another good feeling, another good place to be against Spew Darvish. It's the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also listen wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. Tonight's postseason episode of the Locked On Dodgers postcast is brought to you by Tonal. For those of us who thrive on getting stuff done, including workouts, every minute counts. That's why you need Tonal, the smart strength training system that takes the guesswork out of working out so you can make sure you're making the most of every rep. When life gets busy, fitting in a workout can be stressful. And guess what happens when it's stressful? You just don't do it. I told my wife on Monday, we're going to get on the bike. We're going to get on a treadmill. We're going to do 10 minutes each. One on the treadmill, one on the bike. Guess what happened? Neither one of us did it all week long. So, we having it in the house makes life a whole lot easier. But yeah, you have to take advantage of the time when you set out to do it and you actually do it. You got to make sure it's effective. Even the most dedicated gym goers struggle with consistency, the commute, waiting for weights, other people's sweat. It makes skipping a workout very tempting. With Tonal, you can choose from thousands of workouts and train in a way you actually enjoy at home. Right now, Tonal is offering our listeners $200 off your Tonal purchase with promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Tonal.com. And use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off your first purchase. The Tonal.com website is Tonal.com. Promo code that you need is LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off. Dodgers a 7-5 win, falling down 3-0 in the first inning after Machado went deep. Arise got on base with a nice base hit down the third base line. And for those of you who get frustrated when I start talking about hitting techniques sometimes and get a little too into it, that dude right there, they talked about it at the end of the game, that he can go deep if he wants to, but he doesn't want to. He's a guy that wants to get on base. Led the league in average this year. Showed it in the first inning. Shortens up his swing. Gets on base. But ultimately, 1 for 5. The Dodgers did a fantastic job on him. So, he got on base to start the game and scored. But the Dodgers helped him around there because Yamamoto was still trying to find the split finger. Pass ball and a wild pitch. And then they walked to Tatis. So that first inning was just like, here we go again. But I think the good news coming from that is they battled back, right? I think the Dodgers, we can take a little bit of solace in the fact that coming off of that first inning, they were like, it's good. We're fine. They were probably all aware of the fact that Yamamoto's ERA in the first inning is 6. And then after that, it drops down to like 2. So, and the Dodgers over the I think it was last year against the D-backs in the first round, had 12 runs given up in the first inning. So I think this is kind of something that maybe they were comfortable with, aware of. It's fine. We're good. Let's not overreact. Let's not freak out. They showed Dave Roberts, of course, and you could kind of read the look on his face, and it was like, ugh, here we go again. But maybe that was just me. That was maybe the feeling in my stomach at that point in time. But look, the fact that the Dodgers got to Dylan Cease and he only survived 3 1/3, giving up 5 runs on 6 hits, huge success right there. I mean, I don't know about you. What did you see on Dylan Cease's face when Shohei Ohtani hit that home run? His whole entire mustachio demeanor changed. It was like, uh-oh. It was just, you could kind of see him, checking his britches like, ew, boy, I gonna have my hands full here with this guy. I mean, I don't think he was ever taking Shohei Ohtani for granted, but after that one, it was like, that was a bit of a bucket of water in the face, like a wake-up call. Frank brings up a good point here. I blame Roberts for the ump missing the third strike in the top of the third inning. 1-2 pitch was all over the zone. Dodgers should have won 7-3. And then, like, at the end of the game, check swing there. I think it was Tatis Jr. who they missed a check swing, third strike on too. So, yeah, the umpire wasn't great. I don't have any notes, about how awful he was. But, yeah, he missed a few. Don't worry. It'll only be a matter of time before we have the automated robot umps, as I call them. They have another acronym. I don't know what it is, but it'll only be a matter of time and we'll get rid of this. Another thing I was just a tad bit annoyed by is Fox's strike zone box. It doesn't have the line around it. It's just like a I don't know, fuzzy, blurry square. So you can't really see. Sometimes it's out. Maybe they want it that way, so it's less distinctive. Balls and strikes that are outside of the zone are the ones that clip the zone. But I like the one on Sportsnet LA a whole lot better with the white line around it, because you can definitely see. Another huge factor for the Dodgers tonight, Freddie freaking Freeman. Dude is absolutely a stud. Not that we didn't know that before, but everybody all over the pre-games were like, it's going to be tough for the Dodgers tonight without Freddie Freeman. Like, where are you guys getting your information? Like, everything I'm looking at is Freddie's playing. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And it was a last minute decision and all, but then 2 hits, including his first at bat, and steals a freaking base. Another dude that's inevitable on a different level. But yeah, dialed in tonight. So 2 hits for him. Mookie Betts was over, but walked 3 times. I believe they were all intentional. Maybe one of them wasn't. But, the biggest walk of the game in the second inning, Will Smith to get on there to start a rally. It was a game changer. They had 2 on. Shohei comes up and hits that bomb. Up and in, 372 feet, 112 miles an hour, ties the game at 3, and we got a new ball game. The 4th inning was another big one. Edman, bunt single. How much do we love that? That's awesome. I mean, that's getting on base. That's being a baseball player. I know it's somewhat redundant to say that, but Tommy Edman is a ball player. That dude thinks baseball all times of the day, especially during the game. Did 2 things tonight that were absolutely amazing to me that I thought deserved a round of applause and a pat on the back if I had that opportunity. So a virtual pat on the back for Tommy Edman, getting on base with a bunt single, then Rojas singles, Then Ohtani with a broken bat single. Then Betts walks after a wild pitch to score a run. Then Freddie Freeman, the fielder's choice, that got the Dodgers set up for Teo, the 2 RBI single, which was such a nice piece of hitting. But Teo's been locked in with runners in scoring position of late, 385 over the last 2 months. So not surprising. He gets a pitch that he likes. Yeah, he struck out a couple times, but one time striking out. That's all. So it's not a big surprise the way he's been going of late. It was, again, just a relief that this dude is going to be clutch for the Dodgers. Freddie Freeman, nice night. Teo, nice night. Max Muncy, not very good at bats. Off night for him. Popping up, frustrated, swinging at bad pitches. So I'm sure he's aware, and I'm sure he'll jump in the cage probably right now. He's probably in there taking cuts right now. If not, he'll be in there at noon tomorrow doing it, getting ready. Will Smith, couple of walks, scored a couple of runs. Gavin Lux with 2 hits. Clutch hits from Gavin Lux. Tommy Edman, 2 hits. Miguel Rojas, a hit. Bottom of the lineup for the Dodgers. We'll talk about that after the break. Fantastic night for them in a 7-5 win to take game 1 over the Padres in the NLDS. I'm excited. I'm feeling good. I'm not counting any chickens yet. Nothing has hatched. So it's like one game at a time, one day at a time. And today we're feeling good, right, Dodger fans? It's the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also listen wherever you find your podcast on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. That's where you find Jeff and Vince doing the Locked On Daily Dodgers podcast. They usually do it Monday through Friday. I don't know if they will be jumping in here on the weekend during the postseason, but make sure you check it out on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers postcast is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. Explore those U.S. cities you always secretly wanted to learn a little bit more about. Hotels or bed and breakfasts, vacation rentals, resorts, so much more on Booking.com. You might just find your perfect stay even in your baseball rivals city during the postseason. Now, I've talked about San Diego. I lived there for 8-9 years. It's a fantastic city. The gas lamp is awesome. Petco is awesome. I would recommend trying to find a hotel down there in San Diego for game 3 of this series against the Padres. But you might not be able to find tickets because not only are they limiting the amount of tickets Dodger fans can buy, you might have to go incognito, but they're also charging like $400 or something crazy, way more than the Dodgers are charging at the Ravine. So maybe it's time to taste your baseball competition's stadium cuisine. They got good food there, Petco, that is for sure. If you can find a way to get in, I would highly recommend it. And you get your stay on Booking.com, something near the stadium in one of those fantastic hotels overlooking Petco. It's definitely a good time. Plenty to see and do right there. No matter what team you are rooting for this postseason, Booking.com can make you a fan of any U.S. city. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rival city. Check it out, Booking.com, Booking.yeah. Dodgers a 5-7 win. 5-7. A 7-5 win to take game 1 against the Padres. Here's another thing that we need to point out. Dodgers have now won 3 in a row against the Padres. 3 very big games at the Ravine. So they got a nice little streak going. And I feel like the Padres, as confident as they are right now, best team. How many times have we heard it? Best team in baseball since the All-Star break. Over and over, we're cramming that down our throat. Sweeping the wild card. They were out hit. Let's go back to those games, by the way. They were out hit by the Brewers in the first game of that series. I know they shut them out 4-0, but 7-5, I want to say. Yeah, 7-5 in that one. So out hit by the Brewers. And for those of you that wonder why the hell I do that, I'll explain to you in just 1 second. Maybe some of you that are around my age will know why I do that. But what they do in this 5-4 win. Padres out hit them there 10-6, but the Braves had a nice shot at winning that game. They were definitely in it. So I feel like there's got to be a little bit of doubt creeping into the back of the Padres' head. As much as they're confident and feel good about themselves, best record in baseball since the All-Star break. Yeah, there's got to be a little bit of doubt creeping in. That's my hope anyway. And why I say Bravos is because of Chip Carey. That's Harry Carey's son, who was the Braves announcer forever. That's how he had this weird sort of Kermit the Frog voice, and he would call him the Bravos. And I say it all the time. And that's why the other reason I say, Frank, it's Chip Carey, because Chip off the old block. And then Chip's kid is Skip, who I think is now the Braves announcer, was the Cubs announcer for a long time as well. Legendary family, of course. But Chip Carey, the weirdest, Bravos. And then the reason I say Padres, the Padres, is because of longtime San Diego Padres announcer Ted Leitner, who had been the announcer there forever and just recently retired because he couldn't, like, his eyesight is bad and he can't see the field anymore, so he had to hang it up. But that's what he would say. Hey, you're Padres. So those are my two references to the Padres and the Bravos because of quirky, interesting broadcast styles. Here's the bottom of the lineup for the Dodgers. 7 times on base, scoring 5 of the 7 runs. If they can keep that up, get out of their way. I mean, come on. The top of the lineup, I feel pretty confident. I don't want to jinx anything. As I said, sometimes during the postseason, I get a little unprofessional and I become more of a fan than I probably should be. But hey, that's what we do here. I mean, we're all Dodger fans. I see the regulars here in the chat. I don't see any Padre fans, not surprisingly. Nothing for them to feel good about tonight. But look, I guess here, we can be a little bit biased or a lot. But the fact is that I don't think Shohei's going to all of a sudden, I don't even want to say it. You know what I'm trying to say. I think Shohei's going to be just fine. Mookie didn't get any hits tonight, but that doesn't mean that he's cold right now because they kept walking him. The Padres thought he was locked in. They thought he was fine. They thought he was a threat. They kept putting him on base. So I think he's fine. Freddie's going to get better every day. Let's hope that, today he tested it. Everything worked out, was able to steal a base. So he'll keep going. Teo's good. Muncie's the one guy that I'm a little worried about. Will Smith seems to be locked in. And the bottom of the lineup, 2 hits for Lux, 2 hits for Tommy Edman, including a bunt single, and Miguel Rojas got a clutch hit as well. And then real quick to the bullpen performance. Stellar, A+. Brazier came in an inning and 2/3, gave up 1 hit, struck out 1, the rest zeros. Thought he looked really good. Vesia continues to be dominant. 1 inning, 1 K, the rest zeros. Evan Phillips, 1 1/3. Very good. I don't want to say unhittable, but I'm going to say seemingly unhittable. His stuff looked electric. The one sort of, whoops, was Michael Kopech. Now, the estimation from Smoltzy and Joe Davis was that maybe he was trying a little too hard, first postseason appearance, et cetera, But my belief is this: Michael Kopech is a guy that needs to be in the 9th inning. Now, look, the leverage in the 8th was still very, very high, and he couldn't find the strike zone to save his life. So I guess we're lucky that Dave Roberts made that call and put him in the 8th inning there, that he pulled him after 1 out, 2 walks, and brought in Trinan, who got the job done. An inning and 2/3, the first time he's faced more than 3 or gotten more than 3 outs since 2021. Locked down the save, an inning and 2/3, walked 2, struck out 3, and allowed just 1 hit. And a big K there in the 9th inning to get Machado after walking Profar and giving up a single to Tatis, but he struck out the first batter And then a fantastic play there from Gavin Lux, diving to get the out on who was that? Arise. So, a very, very nice performance from Blake Trinan. We have to feel good about the way the bullpen performed tonight. Now, where this starts to get interesting is if we can't get 5 from Jack Flaherty tomorrow. That's got to be your hope when you go to bed tonight. And if you're one of those people that says prayers, say a prayer that we get at least 5 from Jack Flaherty tomorrow, because we don't need the bullpen going this kind of length tonight or tomorrow night, right? 6 innings, a little bit too much. They're going to be a little tired. We're probably going to see Hudson tomorrow. We probably won't see Trinan. Hopefully Kopech is, splashes some water on his face. It comes back, feels better. Probably won't see Phillips or Brazier. Maybe Phillips. He only went an inning and a third, but Bonda, we'll see Bonda tomorrow. The rookie Edgardo, what's his last name? I can't remember, but those are the guys we're going to see out of the bullpen tomorrow, providing we get at least 5, or even if we don't, we're going to see those guys tomorrow. But I have a good feeling that Jack Flaherty's geeked up and dialed and ready to go. It's going to be a good one tomorrow. So huge game. The Dodgers can win it. It's going to feel very good. And then I will like their chances to win this series and move on even better. Look, we're all sitting here hoping, praying, wishing for Dodgers Yankees in the World Series, which would be awesome. And let's hope it comes after Dodgers Mets, which would be awesome too. I guess I'm equally afraid of both of those teams over there in the NLDS right now, the Mets and the Phillies. So God, really exciting postseason and off to a good start for the Dodgers. So again, let's hope, let's cross our fingers. Let's do all the lucky mojo stuff. I think tomorrow when you see me sitting here, I'll be wearing the same hat and the same shirt. I'll sit in the same spot on the couch. Don't worry. I'll keep my end of the mojo train rolling. Don't worry. 7-5 the final tonight. Brazier gets the win. Vesia, Phillips, and Kopech with holds, trying in the save, and the Dodgers take a 1-0 series lead on the Padres. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming into the comments and sharing your thoughts and feelings on this game. I am Pete Fox. It's the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also listen wherever you find your podcast on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. First pitch tomorrow, Jack Flaherty versus Yu Darvish, a little after 5, and we'll be right here to talk about it when it is all said and done. Have a good night. We'll talk tomorrow.